We now have a set date for when we will know exactly what will happen with the markets, and it looks like we should get ready for the moon because that's exactly what's coming up. Guys, we're a little down today, but I think it's just a short time of calm before another higher. Look at this. BlackRock sells 2544 Bitcoin. That's the most money leaving the market in months, right? I think that's a little scary. I have no idea why they sold here. They might have seen our Bitcoin movies, right? About how one day it will be zero. Right now, though, they're going to keep pumping it until it breaks. But nobody knows when the whole thing will fall apart. I think there will be signs. BlackRock also just sold $375 million worth of Ethereum. Okay. Lots of people think these coins will be used in the new Venetia system, and it looks like they're being sold. Oh, okay. But we did say to keep an eye out for the trend to rise. Do you see the black line on this graph? It's the total streams of iBits, guys. In other words, it has been going up over time. Guys, that's a big problem when you see this thing go like this and that thing go like that. That's not going to happen now. In fact, it's still going up. And don't forget this thing. It goes up, then down, then back up, then down, then back up. What's it going to do? You could maybe settle down for a while and then go pop back up, right? This is because of the Federal Reserve. What is it called? Those who are coming into custody. We're going to talk about that in a moment, and I think we'll move on. September is the due date here. Okay, now let's look at BlackRock selling Ethereum. That money is leaving the market, but it doesn't matter because look at how much was coming into Ethereum when it was going up, right? You can't really compare that to how much money was put in. As for when it was pumping, guys, I want to say that's really too worrying right now if it keeps happening. That's worrying, but not right now. I don't know, but Fidelity just bought 15,000 Ethereum, which is worth $50 million on Coinbase Prime. It looks like Fidelity is selling other institutions, huh? We'll see what takes place. Just keep an eye on the trend. If it keeps going, that's a problem. If it doesn't, though, there will only be a small drop before we go back up. I think we're going to go. We're about to go to the moon. That's what I believe, because we'll talk about it in a moment. First, though, we're said to have dumped because breaking President Trump says that JP Morgan Bank of America is being unfair to him. Oh my gosh. It's interesting that both Brad Garlinghouse and Donald Trump were treated unfairly by Citibank. If this is what it feels like traditional banking, right? The road network attempts to catch people who aren't really dishonest, that is, in fact, strange. If you ask me, both stocks are dropping in pre-market trade because of this, and I think they did day two. But they're moving, so I guess I hope they're getting better. So this is what he has to say about banks, guys. This is great because he's putting pressure on the banks. Do you understand how big this is? If not, you should, since banks are what keep the system together right now. That's right, and banks don't worry. Following is what Trump says about banks. After that, they were scared. And I think what they did was go to the regulators. Banks aren't scared of anything except their inspectors and their wives. They're more scared of their wives than the regulators, but one person in the group is really scared of his bank regulators. And I think Donald Trump is just so funny, guys. His words are always what's on his mind. It doesn't bother him. He's the head of the country, so why would he? America, right? So this is great news. Really? By the way, this is good for everyone, not just the rich or something, right? To be fair, we want the banks to be scared because they think they're in charge, right? Having control over everything. That's the reason we're here today. Due to the banks, and by the way, the central banks are linked to the Federal Reserve, right? Following that, it was linked to whatever government it was above. But let me explain why we're going to pump. Besides all that, okay? Great news from the White House. Quote, have a nice day in the stock market. The Dow Jones, the S&P, and the NASDAQ are all going up. But days like this will happen again and again. The United States is once again very wealthy and stronger than ever. Thanks for paying attention to this. Trump's quote comes to an end. Why is this such big news? He also said, hey, I'm pumping the stock market, right? He also said that there would be many more days like this, not just one. That means something, right? Why do you think this kind of day will happen again and again? Of the stock market going up and the cryptocurrency market going up too, before this small drop. right? He does this because he knows what's coming up. At this point, it's pretty much a sure thing. That's really strange. Guys, we've been waiting for this day for years. Don't even joke about it. When they cut rates for the last time, the bear market began. Okay, I believe that was late 2021, 2022, early in 2022, somewhere around there. Guys, on the other hand, it's happening. It's going to happen again. This is Justin from Bitcoin magazine. Goldman Sachs says that starting in September, they expect the FOMC to make 3 straight 25 basis point cuts. Wow, guys, that's good news for Bitcoin, right? Now the big players in the system are telling us that the Federal Reserve is about to start cutting rates in September, with 90% of the chance that this will happen. This is really crazy because of this. Recently, it went up to about 94%. I saw photos of more than 90% of them. It's pretty much a given, guys. Yes, it might be different by the September meeting, since that's coming up on September 17th. That's fine. It might have changed by then. A lot could happen. Who knows? Events were won by white people and black people, right? But it's pretty much a sure thing because the Fed does whatever it takes when it's above 85%. Here is the plan. The Federal Reserve has pretty much promised that rates will go down in September. People in the markets can smell this coming. Why the markets are going crazy. This is what people who were there knew, guys. That's why the markets have been going up. Yes? Take a look. Also, why did this happen in the first place? Yes, prices for goods. Why did the stock market go up so much? Running in front of the rate cut. They did it because they knew the Fed would have to anyway. Yes, that is the Dow Jones. This is XRP. Why? Because the rate was lowered, guys. I think this is already being picked up by the markets. We could dump anything, but believe it or not, when the Fed cuts rates for the first time, we're going to pop. We're going to pop. We're going to pop. We're going to pop. All markets will do really well with it. Besides that, take a look at this. There is now a 50%. A week ago, the Fed talked about the chance of cutting rates 3 times in 2025. It was about 20% super bullish for markets. Do you guys understand what this means? Remember that rate cuts are good for the long run and will make the market rise. Right, guys? Yeah. They won't go into effect until next year or something. If they do start cutting soon, everyone will be borrowing so much money that the moneymaker will start up again, which I think it will be. It will be a lot more than 3 rate cuts. That's the first and second numbers. It will be a lot more than 25 basis points. They're going to cut heavy, heavy, heavy because I think it will fall in this area, right? If we come up here somewhere, a scary black swan event will happen. Things will crash. They'll cut guys right off. And then the money printer will start up. It doesn't matter what happens. $500 to $1 million per Bitcoin is coming in. $100 per XRP is coming in. And if they're young, $50,000 to $100,000 is coming in. That's just my opinion. Okay, I believe that will happen. So get ready, because things are about to get crazy. That's why they're cutting jobs. If I were them, I would have been cut because top analysts say that the next 5 years could see no growth in workers at all. This is a warning about the future of the nation's economy, so they already know something bad is coming. So the Fed is waiting for it to look like they have a reason to cut rates. If they do cut, they'll be avoiding that problem, which I think they should do, because people will figure out that they're insiders, which they obviously are. But they're getting ready, guys, and let me tell you why rates are going to keep going up until next year when they crash.